we hack the code and flip the tag. Where cliches come to retire. Drop that beat, turn down to fire. Say what's real, make fears take a seat. Unconventional wisdom, dancing on your feet. Hey.
Hello and welcome to Unconventional Wisdom about Conventional Wisdom. I'm your host, Kim Miller-Hershon. I have the pleasure today to introduce you to Dennis Mark Interdonato, and he is a New Jersey real estate guy, and he has a really unique point of view. So let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a local realtor in New Jersey. He covers a wide variety of topics in his business. So he is really an out of the box marketer. He treats his brand like a business. And he's big on getting belly to belly with anyone he does business with. We'll ask him what that means. He loves the underdog and will go to bat for anyone if they need him. And it's legal, right? And so he has been doing this for a long time. He's got a quarter century of stories and experience to share, and he just wants to inspire, motivate, and help people win, which is a great thing, right? And you've been doing this for a long time and you're really successful. So I can't wait to talk to you about it and get some great advice. Before we get into the business stuff, though, we all want to know your status as a Google reviewer of restaurants.
First off, Kim, thank you for having me. This has been a long time coming for us, and I'm excited that we are finally able to do this. So thank you very much for having me on. Yep, I am I guess you could say, nationally ranked Google diner and restaurant reviewer. I'm in the top 10% of the country for diner and restaurant reviews with Google. I am a foodie to the max, love to eat. I can cook, but I usually don't. And because of that, I eat out a lot. So I started reviewing all of the facilities or locations that I was visiting and eating at, and it just turned into a hobby. It's something I do. I don't make money off of it. It's nothing like that. I don't use it for clout. I do not monetize it. It is just something that I love to do. I love eating food. I love being able to connect with a new restaurant or new to me restaurant or diner and go in there and just order food. Don't even tell them who I am. I just go in, I do my thing, I eat, and then I review it.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what my only claim to fame is? I'm more of a stalker online than I am a writer, but I would like you to know that I am in the top percentage of purchasers of coffee for Nespresso.
I love that.
That's
I
my
love
claim to
that.
fame. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with espresso. It's some good stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know why one year they literally sent me an email saying you are in the 99th percentile of coffee users. And I was like, oh, okay. So what does that get me? More opportunities to buy coffee? I don't know.
A good old pat on the back and a thank you.
There you
Right.
go. But very funny. Okay, I love that. And I am also a foodie, but I actually probably cook more than I eat out. But that's a podcast for another day.
That
All right, Dennis Mark, let's get into the juicy stuff, right?
Let's peel back the onion.
There you go. So, what's one piece of conventional business wisdom that you followed early on only to realize later that it really was completely wrong for you?
So in real estate, most new agents are taught all the same way. They want you to pick up the phone, start making phone calls, let people know you're in the business. I don't like to talk to people, right? So I might be in the wrong business. I don't know. But I don't like talking on the phone unless I have to. And I thought there was a better way for me. And I just knew I could do something with what I wanted to do to get people to know that I'm here and that I'm doing this. So I leaned into social media because I had a pretty good following at the time, and it's not new to me, and I'm very creative. So I have a background in marketing and business, so I put that to work, and I started marketing myself on social media as a realtor. And over time, we're in it now 6 years. It really has proved to be the number one reason that I am successful. I say 85% of my business comes from social media.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I think what I want to do is generalize this. Listen, if you're a listener and you're a realtor and you're into social media, by all means, look up Dennis Mark and look at what he's doing and do it in your own area. But I think there's a bigger point here. No matter what profession you do, and you just talk about unconventional wisdom, about conventional wisdom, and that is this one size fits all. Oh, if you want to be a successful realtor, then you have to dial for dollars because most agents obviously have to start out either on somebody's team or at somebody's brokerage, right?
Mm.
And your office, they're going to hold you accountable to how many calls did you make, right? And listen, if you love doing that and you don't mind the time it takes you, whatever it is, by all means do it. Here's the thing, it is conventional wisdom because it works for people, right?
Yeah,
But it is not the right method for you, then you're not going to build your business that way.
you're right.
And
Yeah.
so I think that is like exactly what the message that we're trying to give people, right?
Yep.
We have a realtor here in my area. And I think her thing is, I think, very similar to what you talked about. Like her thing is acts of service, right? So she does shred events. She gives out pies at Thanksgiving. She sometimes, like, she's been doing this for a long time. So she has like a cadence of annual events, right? She does community garage sales where she'll advertise for everybody. But that's her thing. And whether she ever sells your home or she doesn't sell your home, she is getting satisfaction out of doing that. And she is also clearly building her business as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So find a way that you can execute and then do that consistently.
That's the key right there, right? Consistency is undefeated. No matter what you're doing, if you do it consistently, it should produce results.
Right.
So if you really believe in the methods that you are going to take on in order to generate business, just stick with it. Have a plan and stick with it.
And then also, too, I think the other thing you're really talking about is if it doesn't work, then you might just need to tweak it, right?
Yeah.
That the answer is just don't do it. It's very funny. I know that this is a total random thought, but it's funny. I started this new skincare routine. Okay. And I'm not a big, as loud and bright as I am. Interestingly enough, I'm very much I'm not a fussy person, right? Just in terms of, I actually don't want to have to spend a whole lot of time on, that stuff.
Right.
But I'm pretty committed to this new routine. And I said to my husband, I'm like, this is really hard for me because I want quick results, right? I want to do this and I want to see a difference, right? Okay, it doesn't have to be the next day, but in a week, I'm ready, right? And that is not how skincare products work. And I'm like, okay, this is the long game. This is the long game. This is really hard. So I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay. So you've been doing this for quite a while and you're successful at doing it. So
Yeah.
what is one thing that on the outside people have, oh, Dennis Marquis got this figured out. And underneath it all, you're like, do I actually have it figured out?
Anybody who's in business for themselves, right? You don't have a regular paycheck.
Yeah.
Okay. So what everyone thinks you have figured out is like when everything looks great on social media, right? I'm not posting the bad stuff. I'm only showing you what I want you to see,
Right.
right? Oh, everywhere I go. The good thing about social media is that with consistency, everybody sees me. So wherever I go, no matter where I am, people are like, "Oh, I see you all the time. I love it. I love the content you put out." But behind the scenes, They don't know what it takes to put that content out or amount of deals it takes me that I have to continuously bring in order to pay my employees and keep the business running
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I think that's the biggest thing in real estate. Most realtors, and here's the funny thing too, I will post the losses. I will talk about some of the bad stuff, which a lot of realtors don't do, but I don't do it often. I don't do it often. And I will
Right.
cherry pick the stories that I want
Of
people to
course.
hear for sure. But 100% that would be it, is everyone thinks you're doing great on social media, right? You can manipulate your story to be whatever you want it to be when you're putting it in front of people on a platform like that.
Sure. And I think it's so nuanced because I would agree with you as a business coach. I would be like Dennis Market. You don't want to put every loss out there, right? That's not the image that you want to show on the one hand. On the other hand, I think it's a disservice to be like, everything is coming up rose
Yep.
all the time, right? Because
Yeah.
that's also not real, right? That's not real life.
Losses are still wins because they humanize you.
That's right.
You're showing people another side of you. You're showing them the side that they don't ever think about.
Right.
And that
Right.
is important.
And it's funny, I was literally just talking to my team about this, which is, if I was going to say we, there is no we in the closing clients. It's
Right.
me. There's a we in the team, but not a we in the closing clients. If I am not closing, what I really talked to my team about today is, all it means is that the pipeline is not robust enough, right?
Yeah.
If you're worried about closing one client, then you need a better pipeline, right? You need a better, because you're not going to win everything, right?
Right.
All the
Yeah.
time. And so I think it's interesting to not just learn about maybe what you could have done differently. And sometimes, guess what, Dennis Mark, we've been doing this for a long time. Sometimes there's nothing you could have done differently. It really wasn't about you,
Yeah.
right? Sure, there are times when we can show up differently or so forth, but sometimes it's literally not about you. So I think thinking about how to systematize the pipeline it's a good thing, I think, to think about for everybody.
Absolutely. A good rule of thumb, right? A lot of people don't realize this. You can't prioritize the business when the business starts to get slow. You have to prioritize pushing yourself and keeping yourself out there more than ever when you're at your busiest, because that's when the people are going to remember you. They're going to see it when it was busy, and when it gets slow, they're going to remember you.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could rewrite the rule book on leadership, what's one outdated belief that you would throw out, and what would you replace it with?
So I am an Army veteran. I spent 10 years in the military, in the Army, and 3 of those years I was a drill sergeant. When they brought me in, when I received my brown round, they call it, I was used to a very different method of leadership and training, because the basic training that I went through was not the basic training that I now have to teach. And
Ah,
I like what they did. So what the Army did is they replaced the role of the drill sergeant with the role as a squad leader.
oh, interesting.
So the mindset is now, follow me, do as I do. And we led from the front. So we were the first one through the door. We were the first one to test anything. We were the first ones to fire the weapon, throw the grenade, put out the orders, but then carry it out. And I like that mentality in business, because you can be a boss or you could be a leader.
Mhm. Say more about that.
So there's this I don't even know how to say it, common conception that bosses are typically up here and they have
Mhm.
no idea who or what is going on down here,
Mhm.
right? But if you're running a business and you have this mentality, you're never going to be able to get the production out of the employees or the people working for you with this mentality. You have to remain on their level. Just let them understand nothing is beneath you, but they are also there for a specific job. And here are the reasons why. So you're always in the trenches with them, right? I have a couple employees, I have people who work for me. And to this day, there is nothing that they do that I still don't do. They all have their own tasks, they all have their own responsibilities. But every once in a while, I will not assign them something and I'll take it on myself. Number one, to keep myself engaged. Number two, to make sure I can still do it because as a boss, as an owner, you never want to be held hostage by the skill set of an employee that is better than yours. You should be able to at least have a decent understanding and a small knowledge of know-how for every single thing that you have your employees doing. And that, again, that keeps you engaged as a leader, right? Follow
Right.
me. I can do it, so can you. They might be
Right.
able to do it better than you, but if they ever left you high and dry, if somebody doesn't show up for work one day and the boss has to step in and go sweep a floor, I still remember how to sweep the floor.
A great example of that for me is, again, being a small business, right? I think if you've got a bigger business, you've probably got all of these protocols in place, or at least hopefully you do. But I have 3 people on my team. And for a while, we had no protocol about where files originated from. So
Mm.
we do everything in Google Drive because then everybody's got access to it. But what I realized for a while was that one somebody who is really critical to my team was originating content from her drive, her personal drive, and then sharing it with me. And I'm like,
Where is it?
it has to originate in, it has to live in my drive,
Yes.
right? It's funny, right? Those are the things that we don't, hopefully, you do think of it. Thankfully, I thought of it before it was like a problem, right? But I literally, Dennis Mark, I kid you not. This was probably 10, 15 years ago. I had a client in a small business whose office manager got mad at him and left in a storm. Do you know that he didn't have the passwords to any of his QuickBooks bank account, like business bank account, like nothing,
Okay,
right?
right there. It was held hostage.
Yeah. Oh my God, right? We have better tools today, but if you don't employ them, like Google Drive, if you don't own your documents and that person got mad at me and they stopped sharing, it would just be gone, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So I think, sorry, I don't know, I just took your thought and I just ran with it some other direction.
Wow,
But
that was a perfect example of what I was
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. So I think those are words to the wise. As a leader,
Yeah.
you've got to think these things through. All right. What is the biggest challenge that you have in your business right now?
Good question, especially for real estate. We are completely saturated with realtors.
Right.
We are overpopulated with people who think that
Mm,
they're good realtors. And we have a lot of really bad realtors. And it is upsetting because you can become a real estate agent just by passing a test and paying some money,
right.
which I completely understand. But I wish that they had prerequisites or continuing statistics that realtors had to hit. I wish there were certain, such a loss for words today. I don't know how else to say it. I wish there was a way every realtor had to do at least 5 deals a year. And if you can't do 5 deals a year, you can't be a realtor anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Because that would eliminate not only a lot of realtors who were just part-time or just, oh, I'll do a deal here, a deal there, but it'll also create more opportunity for the realtors who are really serious about what they do. But not only about what we do, but what we want to do for people, right? There are so many realtors who do not treat their business like a brand or their
Mm-hmm.
brand like a business or treat the fact that
Mm-hmm.
they're a realtor like a business at all. They don't go the extra mile. They don't sit down and think about different ways to make things better for the client and for the public and how to connect people and be the connector and,
Right.
be the resource. There are a lot of people that don't do that.
Right.
And I feel that if rules were stricter, it would make
Mhm.
better realtors and
Yeah.
it would make great competition, but it would also free up a lot more business as well because there are so many weekend warriors in this industry. And just in the last month alone, I helped two different sellers get out of a listing agreement that they
Mhm.
were in with realtors who were doing absolutely nothing. And that's the other side of it is there's not enough time to educate these people because every realtor's different. Aside from the code of ethics that we follow, there is no regulation as to how to run your business, which is fine, which is great. But that's my competition, right? That's who I'm losing business to.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
Look, it is frustrating, and I'm not complaining because I do what I do. I accept the fact that I am in this pool of people who we all have the same license. Now, no one is better than the other, but at the same
Mhm.
time, there are some of us that are better than others. Why? That's why some of us make a couple $100,000 a year and some of us make a couple $1,000 a year. There
Right.
is a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. So, what's one unconventional habit or mindset shift that's helped you grow your business?
Oh, okay. Like this one. I was a very selfish person before I got involved in real estate. My
Mm.
mindset was completely different. I only had limited exposure to continued education or people in my life who were in the business or the industry. When I got into real estate, I started meeting new people who were making a lot of money, people who were very educated, people who had taken the time to really push their brands forward. Not only that, the one thing, and here comes the answer to your question, the one thing that set them apart was that they were here to serve and not sell. So I have adopted that. And this is where the getting belly to belly thing comes into play, right? You need to meet me. We need to meet. We need to be face to face or belly to belly, right? We need to be in front of each other. I want you to know who I am. I want to meet you. I get out there. I meet people. I network. I connect people. I have events for the public. I put things on. I run Facebook pages that provide information for the masses and the public. And I do all of this from a place of giving. I do
Right.
not promote my business. I do not ask for business. I just give. And in turn, the business does come.
Right.
But I
Right.
am not out there asking you for your business. I'm out there asking you what I can do for you. And that is the big thing that really set me on a different path with my brand and my business. It helped quite a bit because now not only did it open up a lot of additional opportunity, it really changed my mindset. It changed who I am as a person. I'm no longer that selfish person. I'm no longer just thinking about myself. I think about everybody else first, which is a good and bad thing because my house is completely neglected now because of it. Right?
There is
Everybody gets the best version of Dennis. And then when Dennis goes home, that's it. All Dennis wants to do is sit on the couch.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That makes a lot of that's a very cool transition. It makes a lot of sense to me. I had a mentor early on who used to say this, and I think this is a really good way to contextualize this. Listen, business is business, transactions are transactions. You are doing this as a livelihood. I think the people who say, I'm just going to go out there and serve and somehow the universe will take care of me, that is not a business plan. And I don't advocate that. I think a better way to think about this is figure out what your business plan is,
Yeah.
right? Whether what market you're in, like how many transactions you need to do relative to that range of good to great, and then what it is that you're doing. You don't go out there and sell, you go out there and serve.
Yes.
But I think it's a really important distinction here. I think anybody who thinks that they can, it's like The Secret came out, right? The manifestation, and people thought that they could sit on their couch and just think positive thoughts about what they wanted in their future, and that somehow it was just going to come to them and manifest itself. And that is not how it works,
No,
right?
it's not. And
So
I'm not one of those people either. I'm not a manifester. And it's not that I don't believe in it. It's just that I have a model built. I follow the model.
way to
And
go.
there, for right now, there is no time for manifestation for me because I'm too busy building what's working on
Mhm.
what's working. Nothing wrong with it.
I think though the other thing though, again, well, we can talk about this again. Here, I would agree with you, although I think one thing that I have been thinking a lot about recently is gratitude.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know if it's going to manifest anything for me, but I just think that raising that vibrational level of it's the same thing as service, right? Being of service, like being grateful for what is present versus thinking about what you want always. You're always, it's like never enough now. It's
Mhm.
always something in the future, which I think is pretty dim, right? It's pretty not a fun way to live. Here, though, is at least this is my take on this. And then I'm going to say it and then I want to get your thought. All
Okay.
right. So many years ago, I did a gratitude journal, right? And so every night I made myself write down 5 things. And I kid you not, I did this for 9 months straight every single night. And if you knew me better, you would know that me doing anything routine for 9 months is amazing, right? If my mom were alive, she would say, "Who are you and what have you done with my daughter?" What was so interesting was I was like, I don't get this. I don't understand what the hype is about, right? I literally have 9 months of this and nothing has shifted for me. Here's what I ultimately realized. And then I stopped doing it, right? And I didn't see any change from stop doing it, nothing. What I really came to understand is that I was playing a head game, not a heart game. And what I mean by that is I was thinking about gratitude and I was writing gratitude and it was all in my head, right? And I will tell you, when I started to feel gratitude, things started to shift for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what, and then I was just thinking literally, like in this week, that I want to, I think more consciously feel gratitude, right? And so that's what I'm currently having my thought, which is feel, don't just say, "Oh yeah, that's nice." But take a moment to really feel the feeling of gratitude. And
Mhm.
I do think that's an energy shifter.
It definitely is. It probably was shifting your energy. You just weren't focusing on it, so you didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of people, when you take on those types of tasks, that is a lifestyle change. People they don't understand what that is really supposed to do.
Right.
And sometimes it's just not enough for certain people too. A lot of people, if they're going to sit down and they're going to journal every day, or they're going to write down gratitude every day, or things like that, it's not really for you. It is, but it isn't. It's not for you so that good things will happen to you. It's for you to make you realize what's most important in your life and how you can take that and pass that on to others.
Ah, so beautifully said. Absolutely. Right. It's interesting. So I'm going to just add one just because, first of all, I just
Yeah,
love what you just said and how you
thank you.
said it. I think one thing that I actually do if I'm having a bad day or I'm just irritated and just grumpy for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I will go out of my way to compliment somebody, genuinely compliment them,
Hmm.
right? Or even when I'm driving, I will make sure that I say thank you for letting me change lanes or whatever it is. Really a very exaggerated to just really, there is something really magical that happens when, especially if you're just not in a good mental state and you really go out of your way to make somebody else's day, right? something really does shift, right?
It is the oldest saying in the book. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
That's right.
Right?
There you go. Boom, mic drop. All right, but don't drop your mic because we want to
Oh,
hear you.
the good thing is this thing doesn't drop. It just
Yeah.
goes up.
All right. One last question for you.
Yes.
Many leaders secretly battle with imposter syndrome no matter how much success they have. So, in this iteration of Dennis Mark, that feeling of like lack of confidence is going to come up for you, what situation is going to come up in? And then what do you do to get yourself moving forward again?
Wow. So I think the only situation in where there might ever be a lack of confidence with me is if I'm in a room where something is being presented to me or to the group or whatever, and I just absolutely have no idea what it's about, or I've never even encountered something like that. And then all of a sudden panic might start to set in and be like, do I really belong in this room? And I'm wondering how many other people really know what's going on, or are they like me? Do they not understand what's going on? Right. But at the end of the day, what you have to think to yourself is, if I am in this room, somebody put me here because they believe I am supposed to be here. So let's just take it step by step and see how this goes. Don't ever be afraid to be the most stupid person in the room, because you're only going to go up from there. You're only going to grow and learn. So the biggest fear in business for me also turns out to be the biggest opportunity.
And I think that attitude shift is a really important one. I think what I really caught me about what you just said is that if you only put yourself in rooms where you know everything, then you've really robbed yourself of an opportunity to continue to grow,
Yeah.
right? Although one thing I will say, anybody out there who is an expert in whatever you don't use a bunch of jargon when you're talking to lay people. That is my only thing, right? Come on, people, right? But I would agree with you. I think you've got to push yourself. And here's my other, okay, so I'm going to say don't use a bunch of jargon to people who don't are not in your industry and won't understand it, right?
No, they're not going to understand it.
That's right. If you took a second to think about it. And I think the second thing that you really want to be cognizant of is there probably are not very many phrases that I dislike more than professionals saying, I have to dumb it down, or I'm the adult in the room. I know I actually have a precedent of not swearing on this podcast, but I have some very strong language that I would use to somebody, and it's not jargon. You'd understand it. Let's just say that, right? I think that idea that you have to dumb it down is so insulting, right? I think that you have to use plain language for people who don't share your area of expertise.
Yeah.
That's not dumbing it down. That's just being understandable,
Yep.
right?
Agreed.
So, yeah, so don't use that phrase. That we should just never use that phrase. Okay? Not a fan, right? And if you are in a room of adults, you are not the only adult in the room, period, right? You just aren't. And I think it's so disrespectful to the other people in the room, no matter how they're acting, right?
Yeah.
And listen, if you think you are the only adult in the room, then you're probably not in the right room. I think it's a you problem, not an us problem.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. I don't know. I'm sassy today. I don't know why.
You're on a roll. This is great.
All right. Thank you so much. This has just been such a great, interesting conversation. I'm glad that we connected and that we got to have this conversation because I really think that it's an important one.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of people, no matter what you do, this is helpful. And if you're listening and you are in real estate, it doesn't matter where you are, follow Dennis, right? Follow him. Look at his social media presence. I think there's a connection there. So definitely go ahead and do that. For me, I would love it if you would subscribe to my newsletter. It is comes out every Thursday and it's just got one thing in it. So it's not this big long thing. And guess what? There aren't a ton of links and all those things. It's very straightforward, shockingly. And it's always got an action that you can take. I'm going to give you a resource or something that's going to be helpful. So go ahead and do that and go out there and be a better human. Thank you.
Where cliches come to retire. Drop that beat, turn down